Hello, I'm John Klopik, and these are some of my Indiana Jones vignettes that I've made. This has been a work in progress for about a month's time now. Had a lot of different ideas ranging from the video games to concept art in each of the Indiana Jones movies. So we'll start here with the first Indiana Jones movie, Raiders of the Lost Ark, with the temple scene where Indy is getting the idol. It was the first one. I had a lot of inspiration from the video game, and I just really wanted to build that scene. And then I was like, you know what? I need to build a vignette series. And that brought us to section 2, where he tries to retrieve the Staff of Ra headpiece from Marion Ravenwood. And that eventually leads them into a series of fun adventures in Cairo, where they have kind of a basket case where you can see Marion's trapped in the basket there. And having retrieved the Staff of Ra headpiece, he goes and finds the location of the Ark of the Covenant here in the map room, one of the famous scenes from the movie. And then upon retrieving the Ark here in the 5th scene of Raiders, he and trusty Sala are able to get the Ark. And then finally, this is probably the most memorable scene of people from the movie. They've got opening the Ark, where a lot of interesting things happen to the 3 characters here. You have face melting, and one of them, their head explodes. So I didn't want to put all that into my mock, but I wanted to have kind of the just before, and I added 2 little Star Wars Easter eggs in there. R2's head there on the dome, and then C-3PO's head there on Belloc's staff.
Yes, I like that.
So such as that's the end of movie 1, and then if you go back this way, it's the start of movie 2. This is really based on the video game. It's when Indy is in China and is in this nightclub trying to get a remains of Nurhaci, which is... Anyway, so there's the first scene of that, and that leads them to adventures in India, with the second scene, which is the very interesting... I don't know if you guys remember it. It's where they're eating all the strange foods, the very exotic foods, I should say. And then the third mock is kind of dark. It's I call this mock heart-wrenching deeds, because quite literally that's what happens through it. Anyway, and then moving on to the 4th scene where Indy frees the slaves there. I tried to do some experimental rock work on that, such as up here, if you can see that. I don't know. It's a little sketchy how the connections are made, but it kind of looks like rock work. And then this one here with the minecart chase, the trussels, that actually survived. We drove 10 hours here. That mostly survived the car ride here.
Wow, I love the action in that scene too. A great sense of action going on with the rail cars there.
Yeah, that was fun to design. It's weird because this cart right here is actually only attached by a 1x1 clip on one of the on the back railing of it. So, and then probably one of my favorite vignettes of the whole series is the final scene where they're trapped on the bridge, and Indy has to cut the bridge in order to get the bad guys down into the crocodile pit on both sides. So that's the end of Temple of Doom there. And then the 3rd movie, The Last Crusade, one of my favorite Indiana Jones movie, the opening scene where he learns about the Grail lore with Donovan, who's an undercover agent for the bad guys in the movie. And then followed by the adventures in Venice. That is, the Keepers of the Grail are trying to protect the Grail. And that leads them eventually to get trapped in this castle, which at a very untimely time catches on fire. And, Sean Connery's famous line, "The floor's on fire." That happens, and they have to kind of go to the fireplace. And that leads to probably my favorite Indy scene of all, the motorcycle chase. Now, Lego made a set of this. You guys probably remember that, but I wanted to kind of vary it so that it wouldn't be... So I took the motorcycle that was from that set and modified it so it didn't look like a stock Lego set that I just threw in a mock. So I tried to vary that a bit with the little guardhouse there.
Yeah, I made the guardhouse much more, beefed it out a bit, made it a lot better looking, yeah.
Thanks, yeah, I wanted to also kind of use those grill tiles there to get some texturing on the sides. And then the 5th scene of the 3rd movie is when they're on board this blimp, and one of the bad guys comes to arrest them, and throws them off the blimp, says, "No ticket, you didn't have a ticket," and then everyone freaks out and is shaking their tickets in the air because they don't want to get thrown off too. I mean, that's just interesting. And then the 6th and final scene of the 3rd movie is the choosing wisely, where you have to choose the right grail, the right cup to drink from. I have been asked by a lot of people, will I be making a 4th series of vignettes for the 4th movie? And yes, I will be, but I just didn't have time with BrickFair. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. So that's about the size of it. Just a lot of different interesting little vignettes. I tried to capture each detail just based on the movie and video games, like I said.
Yeah, yeah, and I think they turned out great. You know, the iconic scenes from the movies. How long did it take you to make all of these? Roughly, what time period were you working on these?
About a month. I tried to do. I was really inspired. I should mention this in the video. I was really inspired by the Harry Potter vignette series. I'm sure you guys have seen those before. And I was at Brick World, and Marcus Rollbuehler and Mel Finelli gave kind of a talk about how they made their vignettes, and that really inspired me to make a series of something that I knew well, Indiana Jones. So a month for what you see here before you today.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, really neat. And so you're building such kind of a small scale here, such a small base plate area. What's kind of the difficulties you encounter while doing that type of building and trying to pack so much in?
A lot of the series, a lot of the scenes, I should say, are built of a large scene. So sometimes it's trying to condense something as large as a temple on a 12 by 12 base plate. It could be for the motorcycle chase. I really wanted to have it so that they would have the two motorcycles charging at each other. But unfortunately, I was only able to get just one motorcycle in there, but still capture enough action. So I think it's trying to take a scene like a panoramic and then condense that down into a buildable size that fits the constrictions that I have as it is.
Yeah, kind of just the essential stuff that you need in the scene.
Exactly, yeah.
And you mentioned earlier kind of the Star Wars pieces on this scene here, which I thought was a cool kind of add-in. Anything else like that you point out here, where you use certain parts or something that you thought was kind of a cool little detail?
Yeah, so that was kind of based on some fan lore that people had. They mentioned that it could possibly be R2's head, R2's dome head that was on top of this, and then of course C-3PO is always used for that. Aside from that, I don't know if there are any other Star Wars references here. I'm probably a little camera shy, and I'm not thinking of one. And as soon as this interview's over, I'll remember it. But I think that's the only one I have on here. Yeah, I think it's the only one I have on. Oh, you know what? There is one more. If you go over to the first scene there, you can see this little Grail tablet has the one of R2 and C-3PO. That's the tile that was in that Indiana Jones set of the capturing the Ark. So I didn't want to put that with that, but since I didn't have a Grail tablet, I thought that would be a cool use of that. So yes, there is your other Star Wars reference. Yes.
Well, yeah, lots of fun details and everything. I love the way you've captured these scenes, so thanks for talking with me about it. Appreciate it.
Thanks very much. I appreciate it.